Two of the all-time great legends, Sergio Oliva and Lee Haney. Obviously, these two great Olympia champions never really met in their prime. They did, however, both compete in 1984 and 1985. Lee Haney winning both of those events, and Sergio Oliva well past his prime. I believe he got eighth in both. Don't his arms look like big king cobras? Huh? How do you like that intro for a video? See your EI or whatever the fuck you call it. Do that. Pull that off. But anyway, go to the front double biceps pose. I cannot believe that I have never done a one-on-one comparison between these two specimens. Three-time Olympia champion Sergio, 70 or 67, 68 and 69. And obviously the 8-time Mr. Olympia. Now when I look at Sergio, it seemed like back then, your Arnold, your Sergio, guys like that, they had exaggerated proportions. A little tiny waistline, no bigger than a thumb. And the quads, geez Louise, he is beating Lee Haney in a lot of aspects. Of course, your thin skin, your condition, I mean, it's going to be better. Here in 1987, if I'm not mistaken, has those big lines in the back. That's how you can tell. So, muscle separation, obviously the great big rib cage expansion on the great Lee Haney. What a specimen, what a legend. Both of these guys. Unbelievable. These men are unbelievable. Here's the front lat spread. And, you could see Lee Haney. He wasn't as good as Sergio in that front double because of the arms. Sergio has some of the best in the history of the sport. Forearms, bicep, tricep, size, thickness. But here in the front lat spread, Lee Haney, Mr. A-Time himself, he is not afraid to throw down. I'm telling you right now, this guy's awesome. And, the pictures, availability, things of that nature. I don't mind this picture of Sergio. It's not bad at all. So a clash of the Titans heading into the front. And I don't want to entertain pictures like this or picture comparisons like this. Obviously, the camera's way down low for Sergio. Look at his big, bountiful bosom. Jeez Louise. Huh? But anyway. At any rate, turning to the side reveals a thickness and a condition of the guys from the 1980s. The guys from the early 70s. It was 1972, if I'm not mistaken. You guys that are bodybuilding nerds, yous are not impressed with that. And I get it. You guys know it was 1972 as well. I'm sure a novice to the sport. A beginner to the sport. Jeez, that's impressive. He knew that was 87 earlier. Now he knows it's 72 now. Well, anyway, foolishness, not the best pose for Sergio. Still, the arm looks just as big or bigger. Huh? Now the side tricep, tell me if I'm wrong, was not a mandatory shot back in the old pumping iron days. It was in 1980. It's when they hollered at Arnold, and that guy was fired. Never found again. Never ever seen again. Anyway, my point is Sergio Oliva maybe he didn't practice this pose. You can see he's crouching downward. That is a mistake in this shot. I mean, who am I to tell the great one himself how to hit this? But you can see Lee Haney with a couple of little tweaks there. Big man's chest. He looks fantastic, and he pulls off an easy win in the comparison. This is Sergio from 1985. Is this 84 or 85? I'll say 85. Very similar picture footage. Let us go to the back pictures because it's very limited. This is just an upper body of both. Obviously, you can't really see glutes, hamstrings anyway from Lee Haney. He was never fiddling that aspect anyway. Lats? Sergio's not bad at all. I mean, he's holding his own against the great, maybe the greatest back of his time, for his time, I should suggest. And I believe Sergio, for his time, he was beating Arnold in back shots, as they say. There wasn't a whole lot of back pictures. I'm guessing the photographers would be a percentage of them that wouldn't take a picture. I will refuse to take a picture of a man's derriere. I'm just joking. Well, could be. So we are left with just a few of these tilted, thousely pictures, unfortunately, but take a close look. That thick, raw meat in the back and condition looks pretty good, to be honest with you there, pie pants. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to have an actual side-by-side of the back, but this is 1985, when he was well past his prime, Sergio. And you tell me. I'll just sit here and wait. Who has the better back double bi? Looks like Sergio. Not bad at all. So at the end of the day, guys, Sergio Oliva, you gotta look at this like in a little fantasy land. Pretend. Imagine that they both were around at the exact same time, and they had exact same type of things of that natures. No sing, no slapped on clay, anything like that. Jeez, it would be close. And an abs and thigh also proves that it could go either way. Midsection, probably better for Sergio. Unbeatable V-taper. I don't think anybody in the history of bodybuilding had that type of width and then way down to the midsection. And again, guys, I have to reiterate, this was the comeback Sergio, not even close. When he was bald, he wasn't as good as when he had hair. In the IFBB, he was doing them Olympus competitions, and I think he was bald. We should have got to see the bald version of Lee Haney. We never did. He was balding. And that's it, guys, gals, everybody in between. Obviously, there's going to be a little bit of difference with condition, that Lee Haney's going to have an edge, but back in the day, my soul, they would train them arms to be just dinosaur massive. Wheels as well. The proportions of Sergio Oliva, unmatched. So who do I have winning? Who do I think was the best of all time? Hey, if Lee Haney, if he competed alongside Arnold, say they were competing around the same time, Arnold might have ended his big reign too. Especially Joe Weider was around, Arnold, I've been drawing pictures of this guy since I've been a boy. And there he is in the flesh. So he was pushing to make Arnold champion. And that's why he knocked Sergio off. Not because he was better. Remember that, guys. Unless you were a judge back then and you can tell me otherwise. Most people suggest that Sergio defeated Arnold in 71. There was fishy business or 72 rather, and there was fishy business in 71. He was there, looked fantastic. Could have won in 71. Anyway, Lee Haney, he has more Olympia titles. Sergio Oliva, I think he had a better look. I really do. I believe timing had everything to do with Sergio only winning a few and Lee Haney winning 8. I mean, think about it. Sergio could have beat Arnold in every one of those years. He would have had, geez Louise, he would have had over 8 titles. Huh? Anyway, just my opinion. Let me know in the comments section below. Whose physique do you prefer, Sergio or Haney? Haha, Bob Ciccarello here, reminding all of you to subscribe to Mark's channel. Haha.